Around here, the way this racetrack is, these are such fast corners, you're in third quite a lot. You know, coming out of turn one, you're in second, then you get up to third and fourth, back to second, and third. He has definitely lost the third gear. That's why I saw him come out from under that last turn there. That's right where you catch third, and you saw Labonte go right by him there. So he's out of third gear, and that's going to be a bad deal for him.
While we watch the action on the track, we'll tell you that 3 cars have re-entered the race. They are Ricky Rudd, Tom Kendall, and Todd Bodine.
You know, you might wonder why all these gearbox failures on this course. A lot of these guys, almost all these guys, left foot brake, and they don't use the clutch. They just go ahead and they brake real hard, and they put it down in the next lower gear. Now, that shock loads the gear. That's pretty hard on the gear. We're looking at Tommy Kendall here. I'm sure he's going to do the same thing. You watch him right there. He was left foot braking. Tommy used to right foot brake, but now, of course, after his accident, he's left foot braking. It's a little harder on the gearbox. You see him right there, tap the brake. That's hard. It shock loads that gear, and if you explode a gear in there, you might not have third, but you just go a little bit further, and then you're not going to have fourth, you're not going to have second, because it tears stuff up inside that gearbox.
As we watch all this, Terry Labonte has passed Jeff Bodine to take over that 4th spot. As we watch Tommy Kendall playing with the throttle. Now he's all the way down.
Through the inner loop down around where Ned is, and Ned, he's got a pretty good advantage on Earnhardt and Wallace.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't closed up any at all, Bob. I think he's just watching them in his rearview mirror and just staying that distance that he is, and maybe pull away just a little bit. He's very comfortable there where he's at right now. Let them race back up for second position, and he not take any extra chances. I believe he still has a little bit more in that car.
There we see Harry Gant, Ernie Irvin, Kyle Petty, and Gant now trying to pass Sterling Marlin, unable to do so. And here's a crash involving Terry Labonte. And again, it's in turn 6, and he doesn't hit quite as hard as Rick Mast did. And he's going to be able to get the car going again.
You know, that grass there is downhill. If you fall off the outside there getting that grass, it's straight downhill that guardrail. Here we get a replay of what's happened right there to Terry. Here he's got too deep under braking. He's off in the grass. He's also spun the car. He's going to go in, he thinks, backwards. You see, he's got the tires totally locked down. There's nothing he can do steering-wise, and there he hits the guardrail. I don't know how much longer that guardrail is going to stay up.
I'm telling you, it has taken a beating here this afternoon. On the racetrack, the battle is for second position as Wallace begins to close in on Earnhardt, and a full course caution is coming out again. We have a car that is stalled at the entrance to the pit area, and that appears to be the number 52 car and the driver, Scott Gaylord. Here's John Kernan.
Well, Pete Wright and the crew will go to work with a sledgehammer. They'll try and knock back some of the sheet metal as they've already changed left side tires. They were going to be a 4-tire change. I'm pretty sure that they have taken the lug nuts off the right side. Yes, they have. They'll have to come along. They're telling Terry to hold on. Terry wanted to take off because he could conceivably get back out on the racetrack without having lost the lap. Here comes Mark Martin out of the last turn. Terry will go down the lap as the right side tires go on. Terry's sitting, waiting now. Still waiting. They haven't put the jack down. Now they'll put it down. Apparently there's more problems than just some bent-up sheet metal. Yes, and looks like they're going to take the hood pins out, go underneath the hood, and check it out. So apparently Terry Labonte experiencing a lot more problems than just some bent sheet metal on that left front fender.
He had a good run going, but unfortunately makes contact with the guardrail, and there may be more problems than that. Our 4th full course caution of the day here at the Bud at the Glen. We'll be back with more live coverage in a moment. We'd like to thank the Blockbuster Video Blimp for providing ESPN with beautiful aerial shots of Watkins Glen, today's race. It is making its maiden tour through the eastern half of the United States here in 1993. The pilot, Terry Dillard from Orlando, Florida, celebrating his birthday today. Well, once again, the pace car has the field in tow, and we should be seeing some pit stops coming up here in just a few moments. The field is now between turns 6 and 7. Passing over our cave camp. Made its debut here at Watkins Glen a few years ago. Now here comes the field off of corner number 7, the final one. Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Lake Speed, Brett Bodine all come in. Jeff Bodine, however, elects to stay out. Very slowly down pit road with a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Why would Jeff Bodine stay out?
Well, he can go a little while before he has to pit, Ben. He's going to have to make one more pit stop. All of those that are stopping right now is going to have to make one more pit stop. So I guess Bud Moore and the crew are figuring let's make it a little bit later, and then we go the rest of the way. Jerry Punch.
And the leaders are down on pit road now. Mark Martin pitting about 15 feet in front of Dale Earnhardt in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Ford Valvoline team now working on the right side of the car. And apparently an air gun has failed. The air gun that Steve Meal was using for the right rear of Mark Martin's car has failed. And the backup air gun has now failed. They cannot get the lug nuts. They have a lug nut stuck in the right rear. And the car number 3 is down and away. Earnhardt is down. Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Kyle Petty and company. And they have not been able to get the right rear tire off the Mark Martin car. Can you believe it? We talked about it at the top of the show. This car has been so strong, but it's always been something small to happen to this race team that has kept them out of victory lane after dominating in Michigan. They ran out of fuel, ran short on fuel with 9 laps to go, and here it is a lug nut that costs less than $2, and Steve Meal is cranking on a hand ratchet trying to get the right rear tire off. They have not changed left side tires yet. The car still on the jacks. What a tough break for Mark Martin.
You know, I didn't want to say it before, but whenever you have a car this dominant, this is exactly the thing that happens to you every time. This race car can outrun about anything on the racetrack, but it can't outrun its problems like that.
They finally get the right rear on. Now they go around to the left side. Fortunately, we're on a big road course, and he's losing a lot of track position, but we'll be able to catch up. Now, let's check in with our Western Auto race recap as we have completed 52 laps, and Mark Martin has led 41 of them. 25 cars on the lead lap. This was prior to the pit stops and the caution. 4 leaders and 4 lead changes. 4 cautions for 8 laps and an average speed of 81.58 miles an hour. Those that have led a lap, only 3, Martin, Jeff Bodine, and Dale Earnhardt. And the list that of those that are out of the race is very short. Dorsey Schrader, who has joined us here in the booth, Ed Faree, and Bobby Hillen. The Mechanic of the Year standings finds Andy Petrie up on top, Tony Glover second, followed by Steve Meal, Ken Howes from Ken Schrader's team, and Leonard Wood for Morgan Shepherd. So we'll take another commercial break as we are once again under caution here at Watkins Glen International, the Bud at the Glen. Back at Watkins Glen, where the lights on top of the pace car are out, we should be going back to green here in about a half a lap. Mark Martin has experienced bad luck in the pit area. Here's Jerry.
Bob, almost unbelievable. A lug nut costs $1.25. Take a look at what a brand new lug nut should look like here. This shiny one on the right. Here's the one that was the culprit on the right rear tire. You see where it's been rounded off? They could not get it off. With the impact brakes, they had to basically physically twist it off using a ratchet. That's what cost them a chance at leading the race and may have cost them a chance at victory lane. Can you believe it? $1.25.
Hard to believe that a car so dominant on the racetrack can experience problems in the pit area that puts him way back. Now look at the battle, the race out of the pits.
Here comes Rusty, here comes Earnhardt, and Rusty looked like he made some contact with Sterling Marlin. I think, did Marlin win that race?
Yeah, he sure did. But there was
Rusty,
contact.
but I don't know if he beat Earnhardt or not.
No, he didn't beat Earnhardt, but
okay.
He did Rusty, and they had some contact.
Well, they've got him in front of Rusty Wallace right now. I mean, in front of Dale Earnhardt. So he did, in fact, beat Earnhardt.
Yep, you're right.
Well, I tell you, it's hard to get in and out of these pits at 35 miles an hour. Everybody's running a real tall first gear here to get down through turn 1 cleanly with. And it's so tall, in fact, that at 35 miles per hour on pit lane, the engine lugs. So that's why you see these guys get kicked sideways. Here we go toward you, Ben.
Green flag again. Jeff Bodine stayed on the racetrack. So did Joe Nemechek. Earnhardt, he gets by Sterling Marlin. So does Rusty Wallace. They're trying to get by Nemechek. Rusty and Sterling go through the corner. They make it. And there's Morgan Shepherd almost seeing as he comes through the corner. Mark Martin goes through. He gets by Kenny Schrader, but he's got a lot of cars between him and the front.
As they head up toward Ned, we will tell you that Jeff Gordon has been assessed a black flag stop-and-go penalty. And, Morgan Shepherd